last couple of years. I mean, you're talking about
No,
restoring funding. The state share, the state GRF has been. Other sources of income have gone down.
I don't agree with that. They cut $2 billion out in the first budget, and they put 1.5 back in. So it's still approximately $500 million less than it was under the previous administration. Well, every time the state has surplus funds, it goes into another round of tax cuts. So it isn't as if everybody has been called upon to sacrifice equally. Some segments of our budget have taken cuts, like education, and some folks have gotten enormous tax cuts. So it's all what your budgetary priorities are. And as I've said before, to me, my two biggest budgetary priorities are trying to use whatever excess funds we either have through tax collection or through making government more efficient to restore the local government fund and restore these cuts in education. And there's also some, I believe, and we'll be talking about this more next week, I think that there's some possibilities to actually expand things, especially on the early childhood education portion of things. But we're going to talk about that next week.
Questions you haven't asked, and then we have to go.
So you disagree with the notion that funding for schools was impacted in part by disappearance of federal funds one time?
No, I didn't say that.
You just told Jackie
No,
that.
what I'm talking about is the way that it is, that Governor Kasich tries to explain it, Joe, is that he's actually spending more money on education than he used to because he's trying to make us forget the first $2 billion cut. So it depends the way that you phrase it. But if you're going to take $2 billion out and then put 1.5 back in, that isn't a net increase, but you can find that there's times where the governor's staff says, well, we're spending more money on education. And as I understood your question, if you're talking about is the state spending more, the answer is no. The state is spending less. And some of those funds went to subsidize tax increase for the wealthiest people in the state. And I think that's misplaced priority.
So Ed, have you watched Governor Kasich's 3 advertisements? And do you think that scrubbing the Republican brand is fair or misleading?
I actually have.
Ed, we're going this way.
Going this way?
Thanks, folks.
Thank you, guys.